Hello, hello, hello. Dave Myers here, cooking with KooKoo on the Cooking with KooKoo YouTube channel. And today we're not going to cook a thing. We're going to talk about something that I've been interested in for the past couple of weeks, ever since the outcoming of our peppermint mini bars from the Cocoa Exchange. One of my sources of income is I am a curator for the Cocoa Exchange, and that has gotten me into cooking and all kinds of other trouble, including liking chocolate, because that's what the Cocoa Exchange products are about, chocolate. Today we're not going to cook. We're going to maybe learn a little bit of stuff. I find this stuff incredibly interesting. The intricacies, the ins and outs, the little bitty things that might not be in the history books are pretty doggone cool. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about white chocolate. You know, white chocolate kind of has a bad name in some degrees. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to call white chocolate chocolate. Is it chocolate? Is it real chocolate? That's what we're going to discuss. But let me tell you a little bit about the history of white chocolate. I'm going to first let you know about that. I'll tell you for sure, I'm no real super duper expert, know all the ins and outs, but I'm learning and I love to learn about it. And maybe there's some little bitty thing that you could take away from this today, that when you're out looking for that sweet little something that you need to maybe perk up somebody's disposition, or maybe you need something a little sweet tooth now and again. There's nothing wrong with surprising you there. Or maybe you just like to know the kind of product you're getting. So with that being, let me say that white chocolate came about. It's not 100% sure. There's not a hard clad history on it, but they think that around 1936 is when white chocolate became developed. Now, how did it become developed? Well, after World War One, late 19 teens kind of ended, at about 1936, there were warehouses upon warehouses of powdered milk left from that war. And the Nestle company, American company here in the United States. As a matter of fact, Nestle's here in St. Louis. The Nestle company took it upon themselves to determine what they could do with all this powdered milk. And that from that came and evolved out white chocolate, what we know today as white chocolate. So what is it that makes it so controversial? And as to, oh, that's not real chocolate, that's not chocolate, well, what it is first of all, let me start by saying that it comes from the cacao fruit. The cacao fruit is a pod that grows on trees in the warm areas of climate in the world. Cacao and chocolate are only able to grow, or are ideal growing, between the 20th degree parallel north and the 28th degree parallel south, all around the world in that equator point. And so it grows in this pod. This is a cacao pod that has been split open. And this white stuff around around the pod is just a pulp that covers the cocoa beans, which are in those pods. So when you get that cocoa bean like that, it actually, so in those pods are these cocoa beans. And the cocoa beans look like this. They're small bean like that inside of there. And inside of those beans, you have what they call the cocoa nibs. And in the cocoa nibs, can you see there? Oh, there, between my background and me knowing okay, there. These are little things, and they, all of this stuff is edible, by the way. And those two things, the beans and the nibs, are what they take and do the process to make our chocolate. And one of the things, they'd have to ferment that. So as that process has gone through and the cocoa beans are fermented and the cocoa nibs are fermented into various degrees of whatever they do fermentation wise, as the processes come out, a byproduct that is formed is kind of, I've watched the video, it kind of looks like it's squished out of there, is what they call cocoa butter. At the cocoa butter level, you're starting to think about white chocolate. So, cocoa butter is essential in the primary ingredient for white chocolate. That means that that's where they got the word chocolate. It's evolved and around and come from this cacao plant. Now, there are several kind of criteria on which it comes to be kind of mandates from the FDA, Hershey Company, and the Chocolate Manufacturers Association requested this. And it's not that long ago, but in around, I think it was 2004, right around in there, it was mandated that, first of all, white chocolate could not be called white chocolate unless it had or was comprised of 20% cocoa butter. So true white chocolate has to be 20% cocoa butter. Now, on the other hand, regular real chocolate, meaning your milk chocolate or your dark chocolates, only have to be comprised of 10% cocoa like elements or cocoa parts. There is not a real clear, so it would be 10% of your cocoa bean and or something like that with your cocoa nib. And that would really affect how it's dark chocolate, milk chocolate, part of that combination of how that works. And there is no indication that you need to have cocoa butter in there. However, as that process goes through, there's going to be some cocoa butter, but it's not mandated to have a percentage of cocoa butter. Now, what is the big deal about cocoa butter? Well, cocoa butter, number one, it kind of it stays hard at a certain temperature until you maybe perhaps you use it as cocoa butter on your skin, and that will help melt it away, and that's why it spreads so nicely on your skin, because it's used in cosmetics. Cocoa butter can give richness not only to white chocolate, because it's a lot of cocoa, has to have a lot of cocoa butter to 20% at least. The more it's in there, the richer it can be. When it's in your dark chocolate and your white chocolate, it gives a rich feeling, a rich flavor. And cocoa butter also makes your chocolate smoother. It has that smooth taste. And then finally, one of the really things that it's developed that recently in the last 10 or 15 years is they're finding that cocoa butter fuses together with all kinds of different flavors well. As a matter of fact, there is a chocolate company in the United States that they specialize in white chocolate kale. And yeah, that's the vegetable kale, the one that's supposed to be healthy. I guess it's an attempt to make healthy. Speaking of healthy, we'll admit it's the health benefits that has been noted for regular chocolate. I mean, I say regular dark and milk chocolate are not as prevalent as they are in white chocolate. White chocolate is mostly saturated fat, and it's not good. So it's probably a good idea just to, taste on it every so often and take advantage of it then. And but as time has gone on, chocolatiers that have developed across the country and set up their own little shops are finding that, you know, the cocoa butter ends up being a byproduct of them making their chocolate right from the cocoa beans, because they're like that specialty of uniqueness of this is where this chocolate is and is made, and this is the only place it's made. And they're finding that it's starting to be profitable to use that cocoa butter and make some of their products with white chocolate. It can adhere to flavors, all kinds of different flavors. It can be a second product, and it can also decorate nice against the backdrop of milk chocolate and dark chocolate. So with that, what spurred me getting so interested in, oh, the white chocolate, what is the big deal? Well, I was never one that really thought white chocolate was something that you really sought out. I didn't think it was that big a deal until we got these bars at the Cocoa Exchange, and they are little mini peppermint mini bars that are made of white chocolate. Now, if I don't know if you can tell over the YouTube or whatever, this is one unwrapped, because guess what? I'm going to eat it. And it hasn't even been dinner yet. I might get in trouble. Oh, well. I don't know if you can quite tell. One of the keys that you will find in looking for in white chocolate, it has as a pale yellow look. It's not a clear white. If it is a clear white, usually it's probably something that's been made out of hydrogenated oils or some other byproduct that they use as flavor. I want to also add that, you know, it's cocoa butter, milk, sugar. Sometimes it's added lecithin, I guess, for flexibility. I'm not a scientist, I don't know, but it's primarily really simple 3 or 4 ingredients to make just plain white chocolate. And this particular bar, our peppermint mini bars, are infused and have on the back peppermint. Once again, the combination is just blows your socks off. It's a blast of flavor. It melts in your mouth. It's delicious. And even though it says mini, it's very satisfying, very filling. Individually wrapped. Forget the sales. Forget the sales. That's just good. That's just an example. I wanted to inform you guys a little bit about white chocolate, because the holiday season's coming up. White chocolate's going to be out there. If you have any questions about white chocolate, I'd love to help research it, look it up for you, let you know, put it in the comments. Also, I appreciate it. Oh, I'm still going on the peppermint. If you wouldn't mind liking this video and subscribing to Cooking with KooKoo, because we do a lot of fun things. Check out the YouTube channel. You'll see some fun videos on there, some great things to make, and how we use the Cocoa Exchange products, and how KooKoo for Cocoa can help you with your everyday meal plan. With that, we will see you next time. This is Dave Myers on Cooking with KooKoo.